Lake County Commissioners work session here on Thursday, June 26, 2025. It's 10:30 and we're going to start today's work session with Lake Erie College.
Great, thank you so much for having me. I asked to attend just so I could bring you up to speed on all the things that are happening at Lake Erie College. I, of course, am invited to all of the events that all of you are, the annual meetings that people hold, and there's all kinds of conversation about contributors to the economy, both here in Paynesville and Lake County, and we're rarely mentioned. So I just wanted to walk through and just share some, like I said, some of the things that are happening at the college. We really see ourselves as a driver here in the region, and we're hoping to become an even bigger instrument in that way. I've provided to you in all of your packets this economic impact analysis. I'm not sure if you've seen this before, but these are just some of the numbers and the ways that Lake Erie College contributes both to, like I said, the city of Paynesville and to Lake County as a whole. And I can get others of you this information as well. I wasn't going to go through bullet by bullet, but you can see that between all of our students, our faculty and staff, we do play a big role. I'm very proud of the fact that we've grown enrollment very considerably here over the past 2.5 years. So we've grown from nearly 900 students, full-time, residential, part-time, graduate students to over 1,300 we expect this fall. So that's students, like I said, living both on our campus, downtown here, and graduate students who also live throughout the city of Paynesville. Part of our enrollment driver has been the Tri-County Scholarship that we launched last year. This was a result of the FAFSA debacle, students not knowing what the cost of attendance was going to be for college. So we created this Tri-County Scholarship where all students from Lake Geauga and Ashtabula counties can attend Lake Erie College for $7,000 a semester, $14,000 a year, all in. And our commuter student population has skyrocketed as a result of this. So we decided to extend it into this year. This is a guaranteed promise. They can attend for $14,000 a year for 4 years or 5 years, however long it takes them to complete. So we have really attracted, we have a significantly more students here from Lake County and also Geauga and Ashtabula that are taking advantage of this program. So one of the things that I struggled with when I came to Lake Erie College 3.5 years ago to lead us through a fundraising campaign, and then of course when I was asked to be president just 2 years ago, I'm winding down my second year, is who is Lake Erie College? I think that in the 50s, 60s, and 70s, when we were an all-female college, we were known for our winter term abroad. So a lot of wealthy families would send their daughters here to send for their daughters to go out and get this worldly education. And then when we went co-ed and started athletics, we really had no identity. So I've been working hard doing some strategic planning to really figure out who is Lake Erie College and how can we present ourselves to prospective students, current students, and the community. So one of the big things we released via press release last week is I reorganized our entire academic program along with our deans and our faculty. So we've reduced it from 5 academic schools to 3, and we've reorganized ourselves to squarely address the talent gap here in Northeast Ohio and beyond, and to help address workforce needs. So as I attend all of these statewide meetings as president of Lake Erie College, the Jim Tressels, lieutenant governors of the world, all of the higher ed officials, they're telling us in higher ed what they need and what we need in terms of students and talent to address like the workforce needs in Ohio. And I feel like in the sector of private independent colleges, at least, it's kind of fallen on deaf ears. Everybody raises their hand and it's like, don't forget about the liberal arts. And while we certainly know that exist still, what Lake Erie College is doing and how we're positioning ourselves, and you'll see a lot more about this in the media and in all of our recruitment materials and things, is we're going to focus on 3 areas: business, education, and streams is what we're calling. It's a kind of an extension of STEM. So these have long been strengths of Lake Erie College. Our accounting majors are in high demand. You know, by the end of their junior year, every accounting major from Lake Erie College has a job offer. In education, we've been addressing the teacher shortage through a number of really pretty radical initiatives. We have 300 students are fully online from 11 different states around the country, getting their education degree from Lake Erie College. And then the School of Streams, which will be science, technology, research, engineering, and then animal and medical sciences, building off of both our equestrian program and our strengths in the health sciences. That'll be our kind of our third area of focus. And in 5 years, I want to be a college where people are coming to me. If they need talent, they need to make hires, they need internships, Lake Erie College is the place that they're coming to do that. So again, you know, engineering is something, and I'll mention here in a minute, is something that we'll be adding for the future. With this, I've created a Center for Career and Workforce Development. In fact, I'm sure all of you know Amy Sabbath. She is joining the college July 1 and will be an executive director of this center. Her goal will, again, the workforce is dwindling. And so what we want to do is position ourselves to help address that. But this new center will be squarely aimed at doing that. She'll be working with employers in the region to source internships for our students, to help them fill positions, to do jobs. In addition to 4-year degrees, we currently offer some stackable credentials, certificate programs, but I have employers all over the region coming to me constantly, asking me if I can develop some curriculum outside of a 4-year degree to just kind of educate their employees. And I'll give just one example. Buyers, we all know there's a need for welders and things, but what they said to me was, yes, we have a need for welders, but so much of it is computerized now. We need to take our welders and teach them how to use the technology. And so can you create a 4 or 5 class program to help train our employees up in that way? And so those are the sorts of things that Amy Sabbath and her team will be doing here at the college. Again, we want to be a resource to the community. It's a service to our students, but as local businesses and so many of our other partners have needs, we want to be able to fill those. Another interesting piece that I thought all of you would be interested in as commissioners of Lake County is that we are shifting our honors program to squarely focus on Lake County. So we've had an honors program. We have around 150 students in our honors program, but there's, what does that mean? And there's really been no meaning behind it. Starting this fall, students will take all their honors coursework, will be a kind of a place-based experience, immersion experience is what we're calling it. So our honors students will no longer take just a general history course. They'll take a history course on James A. Garfield, for example, and they'll go to Lawn Field. Or, we might have an economics class on, and work with the port to have our students do a visit to the Port Authority. All of those types of things that we're really trying to, again, make our honors program unique by propping up the county. And we've got a lot of great reception from students about that. In addition to, although we are a 4-year degree institution, like I said, we're doing dabbling in certificates, and I anticipate that doing even more of that. We, of course, I think what makes us unique as a 4-year institution here in the state of Ohio is that we have had manufacturing and trade programs. So we currently offer programs both during the day and in the evening in HVACR and welding. We, of course, have our welding wing out at Perry High School. And we will be adding manufacturing engineering next academic year. So this is the fastest growing engineering degree in the state of Ohio. Right now, only 3 institutions offer it: Cleveland State, Bowling Green, and University of Cincinnati. So we'll be the 4th unless somebody beats us to it. But it's just a natural to me, again, because we're in the heart of manufacturing here in Ohio. So how can we offer, a growing degree program, but help, again, create that talent for Northeast Ohio? A few other tidbits I wanted to share today, just in terms of our partners. We offer CCP courses. These are our current partner high schools. So you can see we have students taking courses both at Lake Erie College, online, and at their school systems in all of these school districts, and this list continues to grow. we rely on partnerships, not even just from our high school partners, and I just mentioned a few here, but rather than reinvent the wheel on manufacturing engineering, for example, I'm going to partner closely with AWT to do that degree program and perhaps use some of their facilities. Again, I'm working closely now with Brian at Auburn. And many of these are, like I said, our significant regional partnerships. University Hospital approaches us too, and they want us to add some lab-based certificates and things. So we rely on our partnerships not only for our students, but again, to serve the community. So I just wanted to remind you all, we are an economic driver here for Lake County. I'm really proud of the work that we've accomplished in just the 2 short years that I've been a president here. To grow. I'm incredibly grateful to all of you here in this room, to the 3 of you specifically for all of your support. If you're on our campus today, we're pretty excited because, the field's going to be a game changer for this college, there's no doubt. And this is just an aerial photo that was taken 2 days ago. Now the hash mark should be down in our logo, so I haven't been over there this morning. But it changes that entire corner of campus. And I can't tell you the list. We have a list of 40 or 60 requests already to have summer camps out at that field, to work with, again, a number of area high schools that don't have a field themselves and seeing if they can get time on it. So it's not only incredibly beneficial for us as a tool to recruit students, but also it's going to be very valuable to the community. And so with your permission, and I hope, we need to call it something, and we wanted to propose that we rename it Commissioner Field, after all of your support that you've provided to me. That I think back to those early conversations I had in the field and what it meant to Lake Erie College, and I think it's really helped propel us to where we are today. So we can have more conversations about this and to see if it makes sense. But at minimum, we look forward to seeing you all on our campus for the ribbon cutting, later this summer, late summer, early fall, and I'll get that date on your calendars soon.
Thank you.
So I'll pause there and see if you had any other questions.
So I don't have any problem with Commissioner Field, but if you get some naming rights and get some cash, go for the cash.
Yeah, I need to go back and look at the original agreement because I think it says we can't sell it for naming rights. Of course, I'm a fundraiser, and anything I can do to get a naming right on it. So
Commissioner Beveridge will find a workaround.
Right, exactly.
That I will.
I'd appreciate that. So
I'm glad to hear your community outreach, especially on workforce development.
Good.
That is great. As many people know, that's one of my passions. And we are working more and more every day. Of course, the field keeps changing. People move. Brian's leaving. We have a new person there. But to have those assets here in Lake County, I believe we're lucky. Lake Erie College is one I've often said that a lot of people don't know we have a 4-year college in Lake County, and I see that changing. But to have the things that you've done here, the $14,000 a year, my goodness,
yeah.
I might go back to college.
Exactly.
But it's just something I think we need, and will propel our county into the future by attracting business here, because we can offer them everything, plus people that can work at their facility.
Right.
So I will probably be reaching out to Amy after she starts, and looking at some of the high school systems or the school systems and the programs they're putting in place now,
Right.
and how we can all work together.
Absolutely.
So,
And that's why I think it's important to when we talk about our partnerships, like I said, I don't want to reinvent the wheel, but if there's natural synergies between what's already being offered places that we can just build upon and prop all of us up, that's what we need to do.
yeah, ideally, like cybersecurity, things like
Yes.
that. I know something like Willoughby Eastlake's putting in right now. They're going to teach it in both high schools. If we can continue those kind of things here in Lake County, I think it's up to us here on this board to keep our talent local.
Right.
So I'd love for those people to stay here. I'd love for the jobs to be here and be able to afford to buy a house and buy a car and do all those things. So.
Absolutely. And, so Amy can't get started fast enough. So I saw her last night, and I'm so excited that she's going to be here because, like I said, as president, there's a few others, my provost and my dean of the sciences. We're batting away, like local employers asking, and then not to mention like Auburn, has with their exercise science wants to tie in a pathway to our 4-year exercise science degree that we're rolling out, what we're offering starting this fall. So just guaranteeing those students that if they take these classes at Auburn, that they'll have a year towards their bachelor's degree at Lake Erie College to complete. And then to have the employer lined up on the opposite side telling, University Hospital and others that, this is your source to get your employees. And again, attract them to stay here and work here.
Absolutely. Well, good
So
work.
I appreciate you having me, and I'll look forward to continuing to work with all of you.
Couple questions.
Yes.
You said obviously the growth in enrollment is beautiful. You think that's a lot of local commuter increase? I mean, what do you attribute that
It's a
to?
combination. We, like I said, have a fully online degree program right now for teachers that hold 2-year degrees to complete the additional 2 years they need to have their own classroom. So it's a combination of online students, and it's an increase in our commuter student population. But for the first time this fall, we're actually out of residence hall space. I have a meeting this afternoon to figure out where we're going to put students. All of our beds are full on campus. All of the beds are full at the tower, and we have 2 more orientations to go. And while we hope that many of these students have filled out their housing request form, we know that the last couple of orientations, 22 and 25, hadn't. So we have a potential to have, a need for additional residence hall space. So it's across the board. But the commuter student population has really increased. In fact, it's tripled thanks to the Tri-County Scholarship.
I feel like the $14,000 tuition for local students is probably less than what the average is, whether you can be for a private school or for a state school. I have to ask, money-wise.
How does it pencil?
Yeah.
So we actually picked the 14,000 amount because, believe it or not, we earn about 11,500 per student at Lake Erie College. So although our traditional tuition number is really high, all private colleges and universities have what they call a discount rate. So at the end of the day, very few students pay that high number. Right. So we know that on average we earn about 11,500 per student. So we priced it at 14. We're actually earning more on those students than because they're not living. Many of our are commuting. Some choose to live on campus, and if they do, they pay room and board. But we're actually earning more on those students than we are on average.
So because the normal discount,
Yes.
you were only
Yes.
earning 11.
Right.
So,
So I'm working to reduce our discount rate too, because we were giving away the farm, frankly. And so I have a new CFO in place who's just a rock star, and she and I are working really closely to increase that 11.5 number. But that's a good question.
Okay. And last thing is, it's funny the conversations we have, and I know you and I are
Yeah.
trying to have a conversation with the wonderful people over at our Lake County 4-H programs.
Yes.
You want to know the identity of Lake Erie College. For a long time, it's been the equestrian
Right.
programs, and they're beautiful, right? I had the privilege of coming to a Farm Bureau meeting, and there is I think this is nationwide, a huge shortage of large animal veterinary vets.
Right.
I saw that animals was part
Right.
of the streams. Could you elaborate?
Yeah,
is
absolutely.
that equestrian programs? You had one graduate program. I doubt it's large animal vets. However, as we were having the conversation with the Farm Bureau, I said, I don't understand. We're Lake County. We got great institutions. One of which has a world-class equestrian program. Could we have a conversation there?
Yes, we absolutely. So we are having those conversations. I really look forward to when we can sit down and to hear more about your ideas. Ohio State University has reached out to us because their vet program is capped out, so they want to know how they can partner with us. We'd actually love to have expand and offer master's and PhD level veterinary science programs. But what we've done this year is we've hired a full-time vet. So rather than outsource all our veterinarian needs out at the equestrian center, we have a residential vet we've created a pre-vet animal science undergraduate degree program, and he's amazing. And so we're looking at ways that we can build that out and expand on it. It's, again, a priority of the governor of the state of Ohio because there is such a shortage. And those are the things that we're just poised to do. Because we are a small college, we can be really nimble and we can put things together really quickly. We, of course, have to work with our accrediting bodies and all kinds of other things, but that's exactly how we want to respond to like what the workforce needs are. And then in return, then we're offering degrees to students where they're actually going to get jobs. And so, and that's, you know, a huge selling point, obviously, to parents.
And a lot of the problems
Yes.
with these programs were too costly.
Right.
Kids are coming out. The kids are, you know, all the kids that come out with these degrees are getting snatched up by large food
Right.
processors.
Exactly.
You know, the average Joe farmer or person raising just a normal farm, not a massive corporate farm, has no access.
Right.
There's huge areas where there just isn't large animal
Right.
vets, and so. All right, great.
So-
Thank you.
So I just want to know from Commissioner Pleshnik, does that $14,000 tuition count as a Slovenian discount?
Well, I will say that I've always been intrigued by the history of Lake Erie College because, as many of you know, it was modeled after one of the Seven Sisters, Mount Holyoke, which
Right.
is where my mother went to school.
Oh.
So it was interesting to me that a tiny private school in Northeast Ohio aspired to essentially become the Ivy League equivalent for folks on the shore of Lake Erie. And I think that we need to remember, even as Lake Erie changes and as we work together to support it, that Lake Erie College has always had the aspiration to be the absolute best, the elite in higher education. Accessible, yes. Right here, right home, yes. But the absolute best. And so I think it's important that we reiterate that even as the college is working hard to be affordable for residents, it also has always historically had the standard of comparing itself to Harvard and Yale,
Right.
not little schools in the middle of nowhere. This school has always had the highest aspiration.
Absolutely. And I mean, I'm doing all this to put us on the map. I mean, really, and I think, you know, when I'm at these statewide meetings, you know, there's other of my colleague presidents, you know, that are just seem to be a little tone deaf in terms of what the needs are, both here in the state and beyond. So, but I want to be the college that's, you know, in the forefront of all that again, and to return us to a place that people where they see it as a high quality education.
I appreciate that effort, and I think that's what's going to make us unique as a community in Lake County. And if we can, you know, get people into jobs right away. And,
Right, exactly.
having two kids that just got out of college, and one's doing pretty well, and the other one not so much.
Right.
And he's got the master's. So
Right, exactly. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate
Thank you.
it. Have a great day.
good things. Anything else for discussion? The auditor had to go, so that saves us about an hour.
Oh, no.
Gentlemen, would you like to bring up any topics?
Good that
I'm just curious if the News Herald has any positions to share.
There.
Well, said information's privileged.
You would never reveal your sources, correct, Chad?
That's a different publication. All right, well, I'll call this meeting to a close. Thank you.